begin this workshop with Chef Zach from the Bombay Canteen. He's going to teach me how to make Chettinad Prawns Aglio Olio.
Essentially, it's kind of taking you into our kitchen and giving you a glimpse of how we prepare the things so that you can kind of recreate this at home, because a lot of people really don't have access to our food anymore. So it's a great way to engage with people. This recipe came about very early on after we opened the Bombay Canteen back in Feb 2015. It's inspired by my travels to Tamil Nadu. I travel a lot around the country to get inspiration, and this is from the Chettinad region. And it's actually a take on the Chettinad chicken, where I'm taking a lot of those same flavors but adapting it to prawn. I'm going to make a prawn oil from scratch, and this is something that you can try and use in other recipes as well, because it's a great way to use up leftover prawn shells. So anytime you're buying whole prawns, the heads and the shells you typically throw out. You can either make a stock, or what you can do is you can make an oil with it, which actually lasts much longer than a stock would. So all you need for that are oil, prawns, and we add a little bit of chili flakes in there for a little bit of kick as well. So I have my pan ready. I'm going to add the oil in here.
Wow. So yeah, like you said, oil forward. I like the way you put that.
Okay, so the oil is getting warm, and you can add the prawn heads straight away. You want to wash them ahead of time and dry them, because you're adding them into oil, so you don't want to add water to the mixture. And you want to bring them up very slowly. I'm adding a little bit of chili flakes as well. We're forced into this lockdown. What we wanted to do again, we wanted to kind of keep our guests engaged, keep our the same family of people who've been coming to our restaurants for so long. We wanted to kind of stay connected with them instead of just completely detaching, and that's why these workshops work really well. What we've also managed to do is anytime we have this workshop, we make these kits, these ingredient kits, so that anybody can just order them as well, and they don't have to go around hunting for the ingredients. They have the ingredients available to them, and then they can just cook straight away.
People love going out to restaurants and dining in for the experience. Are you seeing that sort of craving to experience something new translate into more people ordering in or attending workshops like this? I mean, not everyone may be in the mood to cook.
So I think it's a mix of both. What I will say is there are a lot more people cooking now than there were before. So we do get a lot of people sign up for our workshops. But of course, we are currently delivering food from all three of our brands, including the Bombay Sweet Shop. And that's been getting a great response as well.
So does, changing sort of your menu for now to largely delivery mean you have to change what's on it? I mean, all food won't travel too well.
So we have to be conscious.
One of my favorites is the Kejriwal toast, the eggs Kejriwal. I don't think that would travel very well.
I think by default on delivery, it's never going to be the same as eating it at the restaurant, made just minutes before. The Kejriwal travels pretty decently, actually. We had it on delivery before COVID happened as well, and it is on our delivery menu now as well, because it's one of those iconic dishes. And again, the Kejriwal is something that people would really crave right now. So we want to make sure people's cravings are appeased. Yes, but we have to be conscious about what travels well and what doesn't. Typically, a lot of fried foods don't travel very well. And obviously, we made the menu a little smaller. We're working with a small team because we want to make sure there's enough social distancing happening. All safety norms are being followed. So we're working with a small menu, but constantly changing and evolving it.
What do you think, the whole experience is going to look like as someone who's been in this business for some time and has focused on making that in-dining experience so wow? What do you think this whole restaurant experience is going to morph into? Or are you just waiting for everything to click back and get back to normal?
Honestly, I'm as perplexed about this as you are. We can all speculate. I think it's going to be strange for a while. I think even if restrictions are lifted and we can start dine-in again, it's going to be under very strict norms. Typically, you would have a limit of how many people you can let in, or a percentage of your capacity. And again, that's going to feel very odd in the beginning, at least. until people kind of get used to it. So we are actually, I mean, we want to be conscious of these points and make sure we're making the right decisions at the right time. So we may not open for dine-in immediately, but we want to make sure that we kind of cater to everyone as well. Currently, I think delivery is going to be the way to go for a while. The prawn heads have been cooked. All that flavor is kind of permeated into the oil. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply strain it. So the next step is going to be to make the base for the Chettinad prawns. We have coriander seeds, we have cloves, cardamom, cumin, cinnamon, star anise, fennel, and we have dried red chilies. So what we do with this is we grind everything together in those quantities we mentioned in the recipe, and we get the spice powder. We have some hing, sliced garlic, julienne ginger, tamarind paste, and the spice powder, the Chettinad spice masala that we made. So a little bit of oil goes in here. So you want to heat it on medium heat. I think the recipe calls for half a teaspoon of hing. And as soon as the hing goes in, you can add the ginger and the garlic. And you want to cook that with a little bit of color, not too much. So now this is starting to brown, and I'm going to add the spice mix. I like to add a little bit of salt every time I'm cooking something at every stage. So you season as you go, because salt brings out the flavor of different ingredients, and if you add it at the end, it's going to taste seasoned. But if you add it every step, it's going to start to kind of develop the flavors of the dish. I'm going to add a little bit of tamarind at this stage. I've turned off the heat, so this is pretty much ready. It is as easy as that.
What do you think, Chef Thomas, is going to happen to fine dining, and where does fine dining sit in the whole delivery scenario?
The advantage that I think we have as restaurants is we are a brand that's known and trusted, and I think that's important during this time, that you know where your food is coming from, you know that people have put in care and attention and followed all those safety norms, and I think people are very conscious of that. But otherwise, I think for any kind of part of the food chain, so to speak, I think there'll be room for everyone. You'll still have to pivot and figure out how to adapt in a time like this. For fine dining, it's going to transform. But I think the one thing is that people are still going to crave to want those special experiences. People are still going to want to celebrate. So there will be a market for all of it. It's a question of how that's going to evolve. So this is ready, if you can see. And I'm an obsessive taster, so I taste everything at every step to make sure the seasoning, the flavors are right. So that's ready as well. You want to let that cool down. Yeah, we are at the final step of the recipe, which is just to cook the prawns and make this prawn aglio olio.
What are you giving people in this workshop that they wouldn't get by looking at a video on YouTube and pausing and playing as they please?
A lot of things actually. One, I think one thing that we're all missing is that interaction, which you don't get with a YouTube video. In this case, you're actually getting to interact with chefs whose work you follow, chefs who are from restaurants that you kind of love. So that interaction is very immediate and very real. So that's, I think, a big one. Two, the recipes we're choosing are stuff that you typically won't be able to find very easily on the internet, or it's our versions of certain dishes. The final step is where we're going to take the prawns, and this is again something I like to do especially when I'm sauteing or stir frying prawns, is to season the prawns separately. So just from a height, you want even seasoning on the prawns and just mix it together. Okay. Then I'm going to heat up the pan. So you have your prawns that are seasoned. You have your prawn oil, which we made earlier, and you also have the Chettinad base mix, which with the garlic and the hing and the ginger and the Chettinad masala, which is already ready. And that's pretty much it. So get the pan hot, and typically prawns cook best at a really high heat for a really short period of time. So in goes the oil, and you'll see that the oil starts to smoke immediately. In go the prawns. The only thing you want to make sure is you want to get the pan really hot before you add the oil, then adding the prawns. At this stage, the prawns are pretty much cooked. The remaining cooking is going to happen on carryover cooking, which is again what a lot of people at cooking at home don't think about. I'm going to add a little bit more of the prawn oil, or maybe a lot. Add this base. If I were to call it something else and just put something with lots of oil, people would not respond very well. They would say it's oily. And that's it, it's done. That's pretty much it. That's your Chettinad Prawns Aglio Olio, exactly the way we prepare it at the Bombay Canteen. So you can actually recreate this at home and have a piece of our restaurant, our love cooking at home as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Chef Thomas, for speaking with us today
Thank you so much.
and sharing this experience.
Thank you. Glad you're part of it.